Welcome back to Long Island Main Street News, where we're always bringing you local community, government, small business leaders who do so much to help the neighborhoods across Long Island. Today we're heading into the Village of Hempstead. We have the trustee for the Village of Hempstead, one of the trustees, Kevin Boone, with us, and he's also a licensed realtor for the Boone team with Keller Williams in Greater Nassau. Kevin Boone, hey man.
Hey, how are you?
Good to have you. I know we've been trying to schedule this for a little while, but we got it together. You're a busy guy.
Very
trying to track
busy.
you down, you know? I mean, you're busy. But I appreciate that.
Thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah. No, you've been really busy. You know, you've running a campaign, and you know, obviously, you do your realty work. We're going to get into kind of an update on where Hempstead is, and certainly some sense of the market, the real estate market. But just for folks out there who don't know about the Village of Hempstead, let's just orient them. Tell us about the Village of Hempstead that you help govern.
Well, the Village of Hempstead is the largest incorporated village in the United States, and that's a fact.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful village. The village is basically a melting pot of different ethnic backgrounds and things of that nature. Everything that you hear on the news isn't bad. You know, a lot of people, when they hear Hempstead, a lot of the news could be referring to the town of Hempstead or things that happen within the town, and they never distinguish the two between not knocking anything like Roosevelt, Uniondale, which are the town, versus the village of Hempstead, or they could say now happening at the courthouse in the Village of Hempstead. So everything that happens around the courthouse is usually bad. Right. Again, the village, you know, I'm not going to say it's perfect, it's not. But we've got a long road ahead of us, and we're really, we've actually made some significant strides and changes in the, I'd say, going on 7 months that we've been elected under Mayor Hobbs.
Yeah, so this is really a question I'm going to ask you about issues you're hearing about, but one thing about your village, you know, you've got a lot of independent retail that's multicultural. I mean, just about every kind of cuisine you can find from so many different ethnic groups. You know, you've got great transportation systems too.
We're
right?
definitely
Bus.
the transportation hub, because, like I said, we are not knocking what they're trying to do in Uniondale, but Hempstead is the hub. No matter where you coming or going, you have to come through all roads. Come through the Village of Hempstead. Yeah, definitely. So Hempstead is the hub.
Yep. And you know, it's interesting too. There's so many different, you know, parks and other activities that you have within Hempstead, and I didn't really realize until I spent more time over the pandemic with you guys, working with your Chamber of Commerce and you know, small business relief. So I got a better sense of some of your issues. But again, I'm an outsider. You've been running a campaign. You obviously ran the New Politics Club. You've been involved.
New
in
Hempstead Democratic Club, where I'm the president.
Yeah, New Hempstead Democrat. Sorry, yeah.
about 7-8 years now.
Yeah, a lot of years.
A long time.
Yeah. So, tell me the issues that you heard from residents and business owners, both through the campaign and then now, you know, as your sitting trustee.
I mean, you know, it's always been beautification, the way the village looks. It's trash, panhandling. You know, crime has been in there, but crime in the Village of Hempstead is really down from where it was. I would say, like, you know, just the aesthetics, the look.
Right.
You know, people want clean. You know, people don't want to be driving down the street and see somebody at the stoplight tapping on their window asking them for change, whether they're at a McDonald's or a Walgreens and things of that nature. But like I said, we've made significant strides since the time we've been elected.
So one issue that I know at your inauguration, the mayor raised, which I think is a concern of yours, I know Trustee Griffith, was how, you know, you leave Garden City and you're driving on Franklin Avenue, you're driving south at a relatively safe speed, not much over the speed limit, and then you cross the border into Hempstead and you have folks who are driving through your community and they start to drive like they think they're in a rocket ship or something, and they're just jetting through, you know, a neighborhood. You know, Franklin Avenue covers, you got charter schools, you got bus terminals and railroad stations and churches and and your main street essentially right next door.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's stuff like that is crazy. I mean, I think those are the kinds of things I know he wanted to address. I imagine you're unified on that.
We've 100% unified based on everything. We've really been curtailing that in that sense. The police, Hempstead Village Police, have been doing a phenomenal job with the radar enforcement. We've had the mountain bike patrol, which is out, and about 7 to 8 cops or even more on bikes in the downtown village area, where normally the regular RMPs or regular police vehicles would have a hard time getting into. The bike patrol, they're a lot more quiet, a lot more stealth, and you never know when they're there until they're there. But they've made several arrests, several gun arrests, several drug transaction arrests that have happened directly in the front of them, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts. These arrests have stuck, and like I said, a lot of people are feeling a lot safer in the village, in the downtown area, in within the village.
So this begs me to the other question I had regarding issues, and maybe we'll just pivot into development issues. Downtown revitalization, I think, is a key principle of what you guys have been looking for a lot of years. But there have been push-pulls. There were different plans. There was a plan that was put together by Renaissance Downtowns that did receive approvals and legal authority. And then there are other plans, the past administration put together a brownfields plan.
Correct.
And then now you're looking to create they're looking to the state to assist with the Downtown Revitalization Initiative, DRI.
Correct.
Now, no guarantee you get that grant, but regardless, you've got some people on board that are helping you plan. How are you looking at development? Are you pro-development, anti-development? Are you working with people on it? What's your philosophy on this?
I'm definitely pro-development because the village hasn't seen any development in years. Yeah. I would say since the Gardner administration. And that's not a knock on any of the other past administrations, whether it be Mayor Ryan or Mayor Hall. We just haven't seen any. There's been a lot of things that are promised, and again, nothing against them. I can't really speak from things that happened during that time. I know with this administration, we're definitely look to getting a lot of things done, development, housing, everything.
Yeah. No, it's good. And there's a couple of projects that are upcoming. Georgia Green and Conifer, and then there's another one that Georgia Green and Concern for Independent Living is one, and the other is Conifer. I think both those projects come with money for sewers, which you guys need important infrastructure,
which is very important.
Yeah. So those, I guess you got to get those going.
Well, definitely.
On some level.
Our sewer infrastructure, especially the sewers, are very old, very antiquated, if you want to say the least. In some areas, we have some wood pipes, that date back from.
That's insane.
Yeah, so.
The thought of that. I'm just like, really?
Really. So our sewer system is, but we're working on it.
Yeah, I bet.
Between that and the water, and we've gotten a substantial amount of funding in already to get that started, but we're not really looking to do any digging or any boots or shovels to the ground as of yet because things have to go out for bid. When they come back for bid, you're probably talking around November, December, which is around the winter months. You don't want to be digging, anything. So we're looking at 2022. Definitely, you're going to start seeing some things happen within the village for sure.
Well, it's exciting. It's exciting to hear because there've been false starts when you go back to the Urban America days, which is back in 20 years ago, but. There were all kinds of promises for different forms of development. We certainly, our organization from the outside and working with some residents, were supportive of the Renaissance Downtown's work, and there's a lot of good promise to revitalize the downtown there. But again, you got to keep the momentum going with the public, and I think you're in a place now to do that. So let's take a step back from the Village of Hempstead.
Sure. I
wanted to ask you, you're a real estate expert in the field, and you deal with all kinds of transactions. What's your take on the market right now from residential, commercial? You're in different parts of Long Island, not just Hempstead. You're busy.
Not just Long Island.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the city.
Yeah.
Nassau and Suffolk City, Brooklyn, Queens. I'll even Manhattan. So me and my team cover everywhere, and we also have done a lot of out-of-state transactions as well when it comes to either helping people relocate from Long Island to other states and vice versa.
Okay. So what's your take on the market? What, residential, commercial, what are you seeing out there? What's
Well,
hot,
right
what's
now,
not?
from the residential side, let's start with that. Right now, the market is very hot, very hot. Basically everything is going for over asking, easy. And I would say anybody that's looking to sell, whether it's residential and commercial is a little bit touchy depending on what it is. Residential, definitely. If you're looking to sell, I would say now's the time to do it while the market is the way it is. Because there's no guarantee, nobody can predict what's going to happen going into next year. But for right now, I would say strike while the iron is hot.
Right. Okay. And commercial?
Commercial, like I said, it depends on what that structure is built for, whether it's freestanding, depending, and then you got to depend on what business is looking to go there. Because right now, there's a lot of businesses in certain situations that may not work for like a Hempstead, a Roosevelt, a Uniondale, or even a Plainview. It really, that person coming into, or that business coming into that area really needs to do their homework to make sure that that business is a fit for that area, whether they can service those people in that in the area regarding the ethnicity, the age groups, and everything else. Is it serviceable and feasible for them to actually be there?
And I guess I'm sure, I know Keller Williams is very active, proactive regarding fair housing. But fair housing is an issue, right? I mean, you got to really address that. Since reports have been released and there've been all kinds of biases floating around. I mean, the industry that you're dealing with.
And a lot of I'm not going to say, not so much. I'm not going to say Keller Williams again. We're not perfect.
Right.
Perfect for me, but
right.
Keller Williams. We really haven't had too many issues in that regard.
Right.
We've had some of our agents that may have misconstrued. How could you say it? They may have taken things the wrong way or misunderstood what the person was saying and answered wrong.
Right.
So I mean, and a lot of those were a lot of newer agents. They weren't seasoned,
trained, because you guys have a whole training program that you guys go through.
We're big in training, big in technology. When it comes to that, there's no way that you could say coming into Keller Williams that you didn't get trained. We didn't offer you the training because beside the live trainings in the office, we have webinars, we have other tutorials that you can play, stop at any given time, and do this on your free time to get yourself up to speed. So when it comes to Keller Williams, we offer everything underneath the sun and then some.
So it's an interesting perspective that you have. I just want to zoom back into Hempstead for a minute. So you have, kind of a private sector mindset on the real estate side where you're actively out there, you're really working on different transactions. And then now you're zooming into your village where you're a trustee and there hasn't been so much activity in your village. So it's almost like that expertise you have from outside it's got to be really helpful on the board to kind of have a market-based, realistic sense to what's going to work and what's not going to work.
True. I would say even beside that, not to cut you off, I've also worked for the village for over 30 years.
That's right. You've got a long history.
I've worked for the village.
I missed that part of your resume.
That's all right. I've worked for the Village of Hempstead in several different capacities, and everybody's like, why did you do that? Or why would you?
Right.
With every move that I made, honestly, came more money, of course.
Yeah.
But I would say from where I started working first when I got into the village was sanitation. From sanitation to DPW, from DPW, to parks. From parks to, I worked police department a little while as a neighborhood aide. And then from there to the Hempstead water plant where I actually retired 3 years ago. And now I sit here as a elected official.
Right. So you really kind of batted for the cycle there in the village. You kind of
There's
hit all the
not too
departments.
much that I don't really honestly know.
Right. So from an internal perspective, so there's kind of two levels of expertise. One is knowing the real estate market, The other is understanding the internal operations of the village that you're overseeing now.
It
as part of
really
the
helps
team.
to know the people, know how things work, and know how the people work. Know who those players are in the different departments. So when you go to them to talk to them about certain things, you know exactly who to go to.
Yeah.
So it does help.
Yeah.
And it does help to have that relationship with them. And I have a long-standing relationship with a lot of them.
You know, it's funny, there is this dynamic sometimes in certain towns and villages where you have kind of more lifetime civil servants or people who've been there for quite some time, let's say, whether they're appointed or whether they're in the union. And you know, they're like, yeah, elected officials, they come and go. I'm in charge here. You know, there is that attitude, you know. But actually being able to have the relationship and understand their duties, you can create a more collaborative kind of atmosphere versus sometimes some people just wait you guys out.
Well, also,
I've seen it in other places, you know.
It also that helps because they look at you like, okay, he's just not a regular politician, but he's one of us.
Yeah.
So he
That's right.
understands where we come from, our trials, tribulations, the things that are needed, things that are not needed.
Right.
And even with the fire department, where I've been as a volunteer for going on 24 years. Not as active as I used to be, but
Yeah, you're a little busy.
yeah, a lot busy. And I can understand the whole spectrum, if you would say, regarding the village, whether it's police, fire, water plant, DPW, parks, sanitation. I understand how they work
That's great.
and
No,
their
that's great.
needs.
No, it's great to have that perspective on the board, and it certainly will lead. Again, what I've found is sometimes paralysis happens because of division, and by having people on your board who both have good external relationships. I see Kevin Griffith of the chamber; she's on there, and then
she's doing great.
She's doing a great job, and so
Awesome job.
So she's doing great. And you're on there, and you've got internal and external relationships and expertise too. And it's like, I think the two of you guys coming on again, also with Mayor Hobbs, kind of taking the reins.
Deputy
Jeff
Mayor
Daniels, he's
Daniels.
fantastic. He's a dynamo.
And we actually
ideas,
went to the same elementary school, Marshall School,
Yep.
as kids. I mean, I've known Deputy Mayor Daniels and his family for years.
Yeah. No, and I want to get him on the show and get a sense of his vision too, because I think you all bring kind of a different puzzle piece to this. But it seems like you're working cohesively together. So I think that unity is so important.
And that's what it's about. Right now, there's no excuses why we can't get anything done as a unified board. I'm not going to say that we'll agree on everything, and that's impossible. But we talk through it, and we get it done.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a different perspective now on the board, and I get the sense you guys are a little more ahead of things. Past boards I had connected with, I always felt like I was kind of bringing folks up to speed on stuff. With you guys are kind of Johnny on the spot. You're right on it. So that's exciting, and it seems to me you're taking advantage of grant opportunities. That was the thing that drove me nuts for a lot of years, and it's not just your village. There are other villages and towns too that don't apply for certain grants, or they don't go after the money that's out there. It's like you're leaving money on the table, guys. It's like when they say decisions are made by those who show up. It's just a basic principle.
True.
And
just
so
like
past years, you get frustrated. You're just like, wait a second. And then people complain there's no money. I'm like, but you just missed a grant deadline. Like,
well, Hempstead,
you were cued in to get.
Hempstead definitely checks off the boxes for everything, as Mayor Hobbs would say. And with that being said, we're definitely going after the money.
Yeah.
We're not leaving anything on the table, and whatever Hempstead is owed, Hempstead is going to get. The Village of Hempstead will get what they're owed.
Yeah. No, good. No, I think that's exciting. What's the next 6 to 12 months? What do you see?
Definitely change. A lot of positive change. You're definitely going to see some major things happen. Infrastructure, downtown development, all over.
Yeah.
Definitely you definitely see a more visible police department. It's definitely going to be a good look for the village.
Good.
And for the residents, because that's our main concern. A lot of people think you're in this for the money. It's not about the money.
Yeah.
Definitely not I've lived in the village my whole entire life. Born and raised in the village, from my family from the village. My father was a part of the politics within the village as well. I guess as to why the reason I sit before you as a trustee, so I owe a lot to him,
Right.
you know, and my family as well. And you're definitely going to see a lot of positive change. I can guarantee you that. People are not going to be disappointed.
Yeah, that's totally exciting to see that and hear that, and you know, again, you guys have just such a rich fabric of between all the different small businesses, all the different neighborhoods, so many different cultures. Yeah, again, the train station and the bus station, and then really the sense for downtown development, new housing. I think, you know, plus the parks, amenities, all the other things you can weave together. I think it really is, you know, you're going to have a destination downtown. You just got to work on pulling it together and getting to the yes part. And I think that's where you guys come in. So I don't know. I'm excited about it. I've seen some of the more recent meetings that you have. I mean, there's always going to be a few vocal people who might be hostile to any change. You know, you're going to get that
with everything. You definitely
anywhere on Long Island,
well,
not just you guys.
Every administration has had that. Every administration that I've seen in the village has had that, and I've been at plenty of board meetings prior to me being a village trustee, so I've seen a whole lot.
Yeah, no doubt. So I guess let me reel it back. I mean, you were already starting to talk. I want to ask you a personal question.
Sure.
What drove you into this? You obviously just mentioned your father. You know, you've got a whole, you know, history of serving your community here. So what you know, give me a sense of you personally. You know, and your drive to work these hours and make your rounds the way you are. You know.
I mean, how can I say it? I've always been a community type of person. I mean, ever since I was little. Started out delivering newspapers. I had 2 paper routes.
Right.
I was more entrepreneurial at that point than anything. But I would say watching my father, who was very instrumental. You know, my mother always was there as well. But on the political end, it was, I would say, my father. I had another uncle that was very instrumental. His name is Zeddy Brown. He actually was the one that actually got my father into politics, and then here I am today.
Okay. No, great. It's great. Sometimes I've interviewed folks who kind of have almost get that from their family, and it just kind of it's kind of in their blood, literally. You know, you can't escape it. You can't take it out of you. You know, people have that perspective and that spirit. They carry it forward, which is great. So how do folks contact you?
Through the village, 516-478-6468, and that's my direct village extension. Anything real estate related, I would say you can contact me on my cell at 516-281-6059 or 516-873-7100 extension 232 Keller Williams, Greater Nassau, my office.
You've done this a while. You served your community. You have expertise in the private sector. Now you're taking on a whole different role. What advice would you give to folks out there that are trying to figure out how to either serve their community or just even access government services in a way, and maybe avoid the division on social media? What kind of advice would you give to get people proactively and positively involved, engaged?
I would say just get involved. Regardless of what side or what party you're with, just get involved. I don't want to, of course I'm a proud Democrat. Everybody's not a Democrat. You have some independents, Republicans, and so on. I would just say just get involved. Yeah. Because if you don't get involved, you can't sit there and complain about something if you're not willing to put the effort to do something about it.
Yeah.
So getting involved is the first part, trying to find out where you fit in or which direction you would like to go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's great. I think it's great. Great that you're doing it, and it's great that what I like about your whole team, you're open, you're transparent, you're engaging people.
And we engage everybody. We're public officials for everybody, not just a party.
Yeah.
See, that's where a misconception. Everybody thinks that we're only doing for them. No, when you're an elected official, again, I'm a proud Democrat, but when you're an elected official, you're an elected official for everybody. You do for everybody. The people that voted for you and the people that didn't, the people that like you, the people that may not like you. Right. You do for everybody.
And different cultures, backgrounds, incomes,
everybody.
Races, all of it. Because I've seen, how you guys operate. It's not just a one group. So no.
I'm even going to go and take, as soon as I'm trying to find out how I can get to Nassau and take me a Spanish class. When I got out of high school, I think I had a 98 average in Spanish, and asked me if I use it now.
Yeah.
So when I got out of high school, you think back then, you're really not going to use it that much. But then here I am now, and I'm saying to myself, I really need to.
Yeah. Well, look, I think in Nassau County it's 20% Hispanic, and I'm sure in your village it's higher. You got quite a lot of folks, so that's critical.
Whether they're Dominican, El Salvadorian, Puerto Rican.
Yeah. There's so many different cultures you have there, but it's so key. You definitely got a melting pot in Hempstead. This is great, Kevin. Thanks for coming in.
No problem.
Good stuff.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Totally. So we got Kevin Boone, a trustee, the Village of Hempstead. Also, Keller Williams, licensed realtor with the Keller Williams Greater Nassau, the Boone team. You can catch him at his government office at 516-478-6468, or you can catch him in his realty office with Keller Williams at 516-873-7100, extension 232. Definitely reach out to him, whether it be Village of Hempstead or whether it be from a realty perspective, and he encourages you to get involved. And I think that's so important for folks to do now. So we definitely reiterate what he's saying today. And lastly, we tell people continue to shop local. And also, if you can do some philanthropy for folks out there, there's a lot of food pantries and other local organizations that need your resources. So help folks in your community. So we'll catch you in the next edition.